but that was worth waiting for that wonderful introduction. How are you this evening? Wonderful. My videographer in the back, Cheryl, that's my sister. Is everybody good and safe? Wonderful. The late and great Mary Kay Ash made one of the most profound statements of all time. Her statement was this: there are 3 types of people in this world. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. We each have a choice. So young or old, male or female, what choice are you making? Are you making the choice to be the person who makes things happen? Well, I'm going to tell you now, I'm making things happen. And I'm here to empower you, to inspire you, to motivate you to be the person who makes things happen. Now, primarily, the audiences that I speak to are generally female. And I'll tell you why. Because as women, we have a tendency to constantly put ourselves on a back burner. So we're saying yes, yes, yes to everybody else, but then we're saying a resounding no to ourselves. We forget to turn the mirror around and look at ourselves and remember, oh, I have dreams too. Oh, I have goals. I have aspirations. But we're pushing our kids, right? Get the best education you can get. Be all that you can be. Don't come in here, child, and tell me what you can't do. Reach for the stars. You can be anything. You can do anything. And we stand by our mates, our spouses, when they're pursuing their dream, when they're going back to school to get a doctorate, or they're building a business and growing a profitable business. We're right there, pushing them on. We're encouraging our girlfriends. Girl, go back and get that degree, right? But we forget about self. And it's time to turn that around. So I want you to repeat after me. I will say yes to me.
I will say yes to me.
I will invest in me.
I will invest in me.
And when I leave here today, I'm going to tell somebody else no.
I'm going to tell somebody else no.
See, sometimes it just takes those 2 little letters. N-O. I can't do it. I can't come and babysit your children today. I can't go and run this errand for you. I can't be, because I have to take some time for me. And we live in a microwave society where everything is fast-paced. Yeah. So oftentimes we get caught in this routine of life. But you gotta remember that life is so much bigger than a routine. So I can tell you my own testimony. I was the wife, the mom. I had 3 young children at home, ages 3, 4, and 7. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. Can I get a ooh? Yeah, okay, because I deserve that. My boys are 3 and 4, and they are 10 months apart. Ooh. I don't know how that happened, but it happened, and we're going to move forward. And I found myself in a position where my life was a routine. I was getting up at 4 in the morning, running off to corporate America to be the wonderful employee that I was. And I was dropping my kids off at about 7 in the morning. So they were in before care, they were in after care. The people at school saw my kids more than I saw my kids. Because I was on that cycle of being in a rat race, being stuck in a routine, stuck in a rut, not figuring out how in the world I was going to get out of that rut. But I'll tell you this. The one thing I know for sure is that unless you do something different, you will never get different results. So that requires action on your part. I can't do it for you. Yaya can't do it for you. No one in this room can do it for you but you. But it starts with the mind, the attitude. Attitude determines actions. Say it with me. Attitude determines actions. Believe it. I began believing in my mind that I could do something different, that I could create a different life, that I didn't have to keep rushing to corporate America, stuck in a cubicle for 8 or 9 hours a day, doing a job that I was wonderful at, but I hated. And not even having the flexibility to have a half-hour shaved off my lunch break so that I could get to the kids on time. So now it's 5 p.m. in Washington, D.C., traffic, okay? Whether I drove or whether I metro, it didn't matter. Because it took me at least an hour to get across the other side of town to get to the children. And I'm rushing, and I'm sweating, and I took the 3-inch heels off, and I got tennis shoes on, and I'm making it happen. I'm gonna and praying there's no breakdown on the road, or there's no breakdown on the metro, because, you know, God forbid, I'm 3 minutes late. Because now I got an invoice from school, because I'm 3 minutes late. No, because you're supposed to be here to pick up your kid at 6, not 6:03.
Right.
That's the life I was living. And it wasn't even living, it was existing. I did not want to exist anymore. But who was going to take control? Who was going to make something different happen? Cheryl was. No one else was going to do it for me. And I had to believe that I could achieve something different. See, we get into this thing where we might really feel it kind of inside. Like, oh man, I would love to leave corporate America. I hate this job. We just tear ourselves up inside. But we won't say it out loud. Why? Because once you start talking about it and you say it out loud, now you're accountable. People are holding you accountable. Well, girl, I thought you said you was going to get out of this corporate job. Right? So I start talking about it. Oh, I'm not going to be here much longer. Oh, I have other plans. I will leave corporate America. I will get out of this rat race. I will pursue my passion and my purpose in life and make a difference in other people's lives. I will. And I start saying it every single day. Every day that I sat in that parking lot of my kid's school and cried in the parking lot because I knew there had to be something different, something better, something bigger, I kept telling myself, there is something bigger. There is something better. You will be the person who makes things happen, not watches and wonders what happened. And I started making changes. And I started doing something different. And I decided I wanted to step into full-time entrepreneurship. And I did that 2 years ago. I started a small company, t-shirt company, selling inspirational t-shirts for women and moms. Because moms are the best. That's the name of my company. Like a shameless plug, right? momsarethebest.com. And I would go out and I would vend at events like this. And I'd sell my t-shirts. But what started happening was I was getting into conversations with women and moms who would come to my table yearning for someone to talk to. Yearning for someone to talk to who understand what they were going through, understood what they were going through. And at the end of a 10-minute or 15-minute conversation, they would give me the warmest, tightest hug and say, thank you. I needed somebody to hear me. And that's when I knew I had a different calling. That's when I knew I was being charged to step into my greatness. Because somebody out there in the world was waiting to receive it. Will you step into your unique greatness? Each and every one of you has some unique story, some unique gift, some unique talent that people are waiting to receive. How selfish of us not to give it to the world. You have to figure out what your passion is. You have to discover what your purpose is. What's your calling? What were you put here to do? What change are you going to affect in other people's lives? About a year ago, it was Thanksgiving Day, 2009, and I'm getting my kids ready because we're going to be going and we're going to be visiting family and it's going to be a great day. And as I'm getting my kids ready, it's pretty early in the morning, and my cell phone rings. So, you know, 3, 4, and 7-year-olds, sometimes I can't even get to the phone. So I'm rushing to get to the phone, and I go and I grab the cell phone and I look, and I miss the call. And it says, Dad. So I said, okay, well, we're going to see him in a little while. I'll call him back, that's fine, as soon as I get the kids ready. And about 2 or 3 minutes later, the phone rings again. So the phone's a little closer, so I get to the phone, and I look, and it says, Cherie. Cherie is my twin sister. So I pick up the phone, and all I hear is profuse sobbing, crying. And I'm saying, what? Tell me, what's going on? I'm trying to get to the root of why is she so in so much pain and hurt. And she finally gets herself together, and she says, Daddy died. My dad was 59 years old. He passed of a massive heart attack in his sleep. unexpected. We never saw that coming. 59 years old. That's in the peak of your life. And it just happened that I lived in close enough proximity to his home that I was able to go down and I was able to see him and say my farewells before he was removed from his home. But I will never forget the moment that the medical examiner closed his body bag and took him out of the home. And at that very moment, I remember thinking to myself, I pray he lived the life he wanted to live in 59 years. Are you living the life you want to live now? Tomorrow's not promised. 6 months from now is not promised. What are you doing now? What goals do you have? What aspirations do you have? What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you know? No. None of us. Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what age you are, you can discover it. You can discover it. There are grown people who don't have no clue what their passion and purpose is or what they want to do in life. I meet them all the time. So that's okay. I meet them all the time. You know why? Because you said yes to everyone else and no to you all your life. You didn't take the time to discover who you were and your purpose and your calling in this life. So that experience changed me. Losing my dad at that young age changed me. It made me become what I call a bad woman. I became bold, I became audacious, and I became determined to live my life the way I deserve for it to be lived. See, sometimes it takes tragedy for you to get to the place that you're expected to be, that you're supposed to be, that you deserve and desire. Sometimes it takes tragedy to wake you up. I want everyone to look at their feet right now. Just look down at your feet. You looking? Everybody looking? Not me. Look at your feet. Are you going to be standing or sitting in that same spot 6 months from now? Or are you going to be making progress in your life? The choice is yours. We don't have a lot of control over a whole lot of things in this crazy world, right? We don't have a lot of control over this economy, my goodness. We don't have a lot of control over the crazy politics and some of the badness that's going on in the world, but the one thing you have control over is your life. That's the one thing that you can say, I can do whatever I want to do with this here life. I can be what I want to be. I can aspire to be at whatever I want to be. Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to get that degree? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to step into full-time entrepreneurship? Do you want to get your finances in order? Then do it. Stop talking about it and do it. There are 5 things that I teach as I call the power P's of successful living. Okay? 5 things. Number 1 is passion. Discover what your passion is. What's the thing that nurtures your spirit? That makes you feel alive? That makes you feel like you could just jump up out of the bed and just sing everything. What is it? Do you know? Have you thought about it? What's your passion? What's the thing that you would do even if nobody gave you a paycheck to do it? Once you discover that, you know what your passion is. I would come and I would speak at events like this even if no one paid me. Even if no one paid me. Not that I don't want to get paid. I did my share free, and now it's time to go to the next level. But I would do it. And I do still do some events free. Because it is my passion. And because I feel like it's my opportunity to give back. Okay? Passion. Find out what your passion is. Number 2 is positivity. I cannot emphasize how important it is to read positive things, to listen to positive things, to have a positive inner circle, to eat, live, and breathe positivity. I'm telling you, you hang around the negative folks, you're going to be negative. Your feet going to be right there where it is right now. You're not moving forward, back, side, nowhere. Time moves forward. You can move with it or you can stand still in it. Again, the choice is yours. Positivity. Make sure you are speaking into existence what you want for your life and make sure it's all things positive. All right? Number 3, pursuit. Well, when I get home tonight, and I'm in Prince George's County, I would love to believe that there's going to be a line of people as enthusiastic as you, lined up waiting to hire me as a speaker for another event. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But is that realistically going to happen? No. I have to get out and pursue it. I have to create opportunity. Opportunity is not going to come and knock on my door. Boy, do I wish it would someone else. Okay? But this is a hustle. Okay? That I'm turning into a livelihood, that I'm turning into my life. So I know I got to start out and put the hard work in. I got to get out and introduce myself to people, meet people, tell them what I do, tell them what I want, tell them where I'm going in my life. And I have to create the opportunities, build relationships with people. Get out there and pursue what you want. You have to do it. Nobody else can do it for you. Number 4, progression. Every 30 days or so, forget what you're going to do in 5 years. I don't care what you're going to do in 5 years. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do 30 days from now? After you hear this speech, and I got you all excited, what are you going to do with it? It's not hearing the inspiration. It's putting the inspiration into practice or into play. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go home and journal about this event tonight and say, you know what, 30 days from now, this is what I want to be doing different in my life? It takes small things, small changes that end up being big changes. I left my corporate job in November of last year. Can I get a attorneys who were bigger babies than my babies. And I was tired of being tired and tired of hearing them whining and complaining. I didn't know what they had to complain about with no kids, making well over $1 million. But I didn't want to live that way. And I kept talking about it and kept speaking it, and I finally did it in November of last year. That's only been about, what, 6 months? Sometimes I still go to my bank account and I hope that maybe they made a mistake and put a direct deposit. So far, nothing. So it's hard. It's challenging. It's not easy. I won't even give you that assumption that it's easy because it's not. But I have such a belief in my heart in what I'm doing that I will not give up. Failure is not an option. You know it. It's not an option. About letting go of the paycheck, because that's a scary thing. Ooh, let me tell you, you look at that account every 2 weeks and it's not there no more. It's scary. But what it does, it pushes me to be a better person. It pushes me to be a more focused and driven woman. It pushes me to be more creative in finding ways to generate income so that I can continue to live my dream. That's what it does. And the impact that I'm making on my kids' lives is amazing. So they went from being in before and after care and all the 11 hours a day to now I can drop my daughter off at 9 a.m. for the regular school hours. I can pick her up at 3:30. And it brings me so much joy that she's not sitting there waiting for me until 6 and then she's the last kid in the room. It brings me so much joy. And although I don't have as much money yet to spend on them as I want to, I promise you when they grow up they'll appreciate the time much more than the money. I always remind myself it's about quality of life. It's about quality time with them, not how much I'm able to give them, but I don't have 15 minutes to spend with them in the evening. It's crazy. And I see parents do it all the time. So again, speak it into existence. Last but not least, perseverance. Anything that you want, it's going to take work. It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come today, tomorrow. Remember, I started my business 2 years ago. I just left corporate America in November. So although I wanted to be gone at the moment I started that business, that wasn't realistic. So I had to kind of create a plan. What's the plan? And that's not always to say that it will go according to plan. Because I actually left probably about a year before I anticipated leaving. But I really was tired of being tired. And sometimes we get to a place where we plan and plan and plan and plan a little bit more. I'm going to hang in there one more year. I'm going to do it one more year. And you never get out of there. So I was like, okay, now, I mean, this is as good a time as any time. I might as well do it right here, right now. And that's what I did. I took the leap. Took the leap of faith. But a part of it is keeping myself surrounded with other positive, like-minded people. Because you can have those folks who I told on the job that I was going to leave, and they're like, what? I mean, they looked at me with cross eyes and all kinds of stuff. What do you mean? And what you gonna do? What do you mean what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pursue my passion. I'm gonna make it work. But once I got around other entrepreneurs, they understood. They understood. They spoke the same language. And they helped infuse into me the determination to keep pressing forward, not to give up, even during the tough times, even while I'm trying to get clients, even while I'm trying to sell the book, whatever it is, they push me to continue being my best and reminding me life is so much bigger than a routine. So that's what you have to ask yourself the question. Am I going to be the person who makes things happen? Am I going to be the person who watches things happen? Or am I going to be the person who wonders what happened? I don't know how I'm doing on time, because I can continue talking.
I don't mind, you can talk all night.
We got 10 more minutes. We got 10 more minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the other things that I've done. In January 2nd of this year, I published my very first book, which is here, called How I Flatlined and Woke Up in 45 Days. I love that title, not just because I created it, but because it grabs people. So people come on and say, oh, really? And I said, really? Because I flatlined in life. I lost my heartbeat in life because I was stuck in that rut, living according to a routine, doing everything I was supposed to do as a woman, as a wife, as a mom, as an employee, smiling, but dead on the inside. Okay? And what I knew was that my attitude had to be changed. And so I created for myself 45 days of empowerment tips, because I was going to become that bad woman who was going to be determined to live her dreams. And so those tips made me stronger, made me bolder, made me more focused, made me more driven, made me more determined, made me more committed. I was like a little train who thought he could. I was not giving up. And so in the book, I share 45 days of empowerment tips for you. And on the right of each page, you journal about what you did to implement that empowerment tip in your life for that day. What did you do different? Did you really even think about it? Did you let it penetrate your mind and your heart? Are you going to use it going forward in the future? And I'm going to read to you one of the days, just so you get a general idea of the information that's contained in the book. And I really want to pick a good one. That's one of my favorites. And what I love about it is that you can pick this book up over and over and over again and be empowered and be inspired. So it's a book that you can add to your library. So I'm going to share with you day 16. Envision your success. Success is never achieved in the blink of an eye. Individuals who might appear to have achieved overnight success have usually been perfecting their craft for many years. You must remain determined, diligent, persistent, courageous, and fearless as you pursue your dreams and create your own destiny. Develop the mentality that failure is not an option. Never stop working towards your goals and dreams. Always maintain belief in yourself and your abilities to achieve big. And if things get a little rocky in the interim, just hold on and enjoy the ride. You might just need that. You might need that small tidbit of information that morning that you woke up and said, Lord, do I have to go to this job again? You might need that to get you through the work that you're going to have to push through to get to where you want to be. But it's okay. Sometimes we have to do the things we don't really want to do to get to where we want to be.
Right.
I just left a boot camp today. I actually came here directly from the boot camp. I don't know if any of you are familiar with a gentleman named Willie Jolly.
Yes.
He is a world-renowned speaker. He's been recognized as one of the top 5 speakers in the world. Well, this is how serious I am about perfecting my craft and pursuing my dreams. I attended his 2-day boot camp, which was all day yesterday and all day today. So I've been there in DC at the boot camp since about 8 o'clock this morning. I literally came straight here directly from the event. But it was powerful.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a small investment, but I believe in investing in me.
Right.
Okay? Nobody's going to invest in me but me. And I have to set the precedence for everybody else who's watching that this is what I want for me and this is what I expect in my life. The difference between someone who wins and someone who loses is simply this. The person who wins is the person who fails, yet they get up and they try again.
Yep.
The person who loses is the person who falls down and gives up.
Yep.
Don't give up. You have so much to offer. The world is waiting for your unique greatness, for your stories, for your talents, for your skills, for your abilities, for your confidence, for your commitment to being something better and giving something better to the world. I'm going to tell you a quick story and then I'm going to close out. So there's a lady who worked her whole life and she put in the blood, the sweat, and the tears to raise her children and to be a great employee on her job. And finally, she gets to the age where she's going to retire. And so the place where she worked, they decided, well, okay, we're going to give her this great ceremony because she's given so much to the community and to the job and to her family. We're going to celebrate her. They call her and they give her the news and she's excited. And she starts looking for her dress. What am I going to wear? How am I going to wear my hair? Who's going to do my makeup? She's just all excited, right? Giddy, like women get. And she's thinking about it, and time is getting closer, and she's picking out her shoes, and she's getting excited. Finally, the day is there. The day is there, right? And so she goes to the event where they're going to celebrate her, and finally time comes around for her to come to the stage, and she gets up in her beautiful gown, and her beautiful shoes, and she just looks fabulous, and she's walking up, and everybody's filled with excitement, and she's walking up the steps to go to the podium, and her dress gets caught on her heel, and she falls flat on her face. There's just this gasp in her mind. What is she going to do? I feel so bad for her. What's she going to do? And she gets herself together, and she gets herself up, and she walks up to the podium, and she says, well, I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm getting this award. Because every time I fall, I get up. No matter how many times life knocks you down, get up. Dust yourself off and get up. Be a winner, not a loser. Only you determine whether or not you're going to be the person who makes things happen or who wonders and watches what happened. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by those who choose to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Will you dare to be your very best? Will you dare to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before? Will you dare to be the person who makes things happen? It is your choice. Thank you.